Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Learning Hunt. Today we will learn about the transform property of CSS. So as you can see that I already create here 4 boxes with the X and Y axis here, and there are some codes here of the HTML codes. I create an outer div element, and in the outer div element I create a 4 div element with the class name inner, and inside the inner div element I create a 4 div element also with the class name inner1, inner2, inner3 and inner4, and I apply some CSS in this div element. So this is the CSS for outer div element, and the heading 3 here for the text inner, and I also use here some pseudo class for making the X and Y axis here, and there are the 4 boxes inner1, inner2, inner3 and inner4. So the transform property has a 4 value, that is the translate, scale, rotate and skew. With the help of translate you can move your element, and with the help of scale you can increase or decrease of your element, and rotate, with the help of rotate you can rotate your box or any element at a particular angle, and with the help of skew you can stretch your element. So let's start with the translate property as a translate. So I use the translate property in my inner one. This is the box 1, and in that way I make 3 boxes comment line, because I want a 1 box here. Okay, so here I make the 3 boxes are comment line, and here are the 1 boxes. It will be easy to see what is the use of translate. Okay, so here at first I write here the transform, and after the transform I write here the translate X. So at first the translate X, if you write here the translate X, that is the 50%, and save your code, and if you refresh your page, now you can see that your box will move from their previous position at the 50% of the X axis. Okay, you can also give here the negative value. So if you write here the negative value, then your box will move to the left side of the 50% of their previous position, as you can see that. So it will also work in the pixel value. So if you write here the Y axis, just like I write here the Y axis for the Y axis direction, and I write here the 50 pixel, and I'll save this file and refresh my page. Now you can see that your box is moved the 50 pixel down from the Y axis from their previous position. You can also decrease this value or increase this value, just like if I write here the 30 pixel and refresh my page. Now you can see that now at that time your box is moved downward at the 30 pixel. You can also give the both X and Y value at the same time. So for that you have to write only the translate, and after that you have to give the X axis value at first, and then you have to write. So I give here the 50 pixel minus. So if I refresh my page, now you can see that my box is moved from the X axis the 30 pixel, and from the Y axis in minus 50 pixel here. So you can also use the transition property to make an animation effect. With the help of transition you can make an animation effect. So at first I write here the inner one, and I use some hover effect. For that I copy this line, okay, here, and inside the inner one I use the transition property, that is all 0.5 second, and I want the piece. Now I save this file and refresh my page. Now here you can see that when I move my cursor at the div element, when I move my cursor at the div element, then you can see that my box is moved to my box is moved to their previous position, just like here the X axis is the 30 pixel and the Y axis is minus 50 pixel. So with the help of transition you can make an animation effect, and this is the use of translate. Okay, so let's move to our next property, that is the scale. So I uncomment this line, sorry, I uncomment this line here and make this 2D element, make the 2D element to the comment line here. When I refresh my page, now you can see that this is the translate property here, and this is for the scale. So let's apply some scale property here. So I write here the transform and the scale. Okay, if you write here the scale x, if you write here the scale x, and if you give the true value 2 here, and when you refresh your page, then you found your x-axis value, your x-axis value is the twice of their previous size. And in that way you can also decrease their value. Just if you give here 1, then it will come to their previous position, previous size, sorry. Here as you can see that its previous size will be the value 1, and if you write here the 0.5, then you found your x-axis value of this scale for the box 2 is decreases, that is the 0.5. You can also do that for the y-axis also. If you save this file and refresh my page, refresh your page, then you can see that your y-axis value is 0.5 here, and if you give here the 2, then your box y-axis size will be the twice of their previous size here. And you can also give here the only, if you write here the only scale, and when you save this file and refresh your page, now you found that your box size will be the twice, is the bigger than their previous one, is the twice size is twice of their box here. With the help of a scale you can do that. If you write here the 0.5, then your box size is decreases, sorry, your box size decreases, as you can see that here. You can also use the transition property here. So I just copy this transition property and paste it here. Now I use here some hover effect. For that I copy this line and paste it here, and I write here the inner 2 for the box 2, and I write here the transform scale is 0.5. When I save this file and refresh my page, now you can see that when I move my cursor to this box, then it decreases their size, and it will make a beautiful effect, like an animation to your box here. As you can see that this is the use of translate, and this is the use of scale. So our next property is the rotate. So for that, let's uncomment one more box here, and I comment this box. Okay, now I save this file and refresh my page. Now you can see that my third box is coming here. So let's try some codes. So for that I write here the transform and rotate. If you write here the rotate an x-axis, rotate from the x-axis, then if you can also, you have to give the degree and angle. If you write here the 45 degree, and when you save this file and refresh your page, now you can see that your box is its x-axis, it's rotate your box to the 45 degree from the x-axis. Now you cannot see clearly, so for that I move this box to 180 degree. Okay, so when I save this file and refresh my page, now you can see that my box is totally 180 degree rotated. So I use here the transition property. So if I use the transition property here, then you can see clearly how the rotate will work. So if I also copy this line here and paste it. Okay, after the paste I change this because for the third box my class name is the inner3, and I also copy this line and paste it here. Okay, Ctrl plus B here. Now when I save this file and refresh my page, now you can see that here when I move my cursor to this box, then this box will rotate the 180 degree from their x-axis. You can also do that from the y-axis. You have to just write here the y-axis. Write here the y-axis and save this file and refresh your page. Now you can see that your box will rotate from the y-axis. If you can also give the x and y-axis both. You have to give only the rotate, and if you here now you refresh your page, when you move your cursor to this box, then you can see that a beautiful rotating effect occur to your box. Here in that way the rotate will work. So our next property is the skew property. So for that I already make here a transition effect also for this fourth div element. I'll copy this and paste it here, and I write here the inner4 for this fourth div element. Okay, and I also copy this transition property and paste it here, and now I save this file. Okay, sorry, I have to uncomment this div element here. Now I refresh my page. Now you can see that my skew div element is coming here. It will rotate because there is the use of transform rotate property. So I delete this. Now I write here the skew property, skew x. If you write the skew x, you have to give the 45 any degree. You have to give a degree. Then if you refresh your page, now you can see that your box is stretched here at the 45 degree angle from the x-axis. As you can see that if you write here the y, and when you save this file and refresh your page, now you can see that now your box is stretched to the y-axis, from the y-axis. Okay, if you write only the skew and the 45, you have to give the 20 degree here, and I have to give the y-axis. I give the, for the x-axis I give the 20 degree, and for the y-axis I give the 50 degree. And when I refresh my page, now you can see that my box is now stretched here, as you can see that here of skew property. So I hope you understand that what is the use of translate, scale, rotate and skew property. So this is for today. If you learned something today, then give a thumb, press the bell icon, subscribe my channel to get more.